Howdy YouTube, El Camino Guy 2005 here, bringing you another update on our El Camino project. If I remember correctly, in the last video I said we think there was something wrong with the governor of the transmission. Well, it turns out it was not the governor. So the transmission itself is bad. It was brand new when we put it in 10, 13, 12, I forget how long ago. Back in 2011? No, 2001, sorry. So when we put it in. It was perfectly running, driving transmission then. Unfortunately, if y'all recall, the day we had it taken away for paint, the guy who was going to paint it for us showed up with a two-wheel dolly. Well, he was supposed to take it on a four-wheel trailer. Now, we didn't think nothing of it at the time, but we should have. The vehicle had been sitting in the garage for so long, there was no fluid in the transmission. It hadn't leaked out, but there just wasn't enough in there to keep everything lubricated. It settled all at the bottom of the pan. And with no driving, when he took it down there, even though it was in neutral, he fried the transmission. And on the way back, it probably didn't help doing the same exact thing, because we didn't have any way of getting it back to us except by using a two-wheel dolly. Now, we should have backed it onto the two-wheel dolly, but we couldn't do that, I don't think, because the wheelbase is different, and never mind, doesn't matter. Bottom line is, the transmission is fried. So, we're building a new one. We're building this new one here. As you can see, we have everything finished, except for the pan. This pan has actually got a lot of rust damage, so we're going to get another one. I just stuck it on there so I wouldn't paint the valve body. Painted it with a nice glossy gray paint. Not that it matters, because, you know, it's just a transmission. It doesn't have to be perfect. It's still sticky. Let's see. The pan itself is going to be painted black. The governor housing, which is right over there, is also black. And I think, if I get a chance, I'll try to paint this black, too. Not that it matters, because, again, who's going to see it? But, you know, it looked cool until we put it in there. But anyway, this is a 700R4 transmission. Some of you may already know that a 1980 El Camino did not come with this kind of transmission. It came with a different kind. I don't remember which one, because I'm not an expert. But my dad says this one will work in there, and matter of fact, it'll be even better than the one we put in there years ago. So, you can see I have the shaft taped up for the painting process. I'll take that off later. We do have another pan at my old house. We'll get that. Be hopefully in much better shape. Get it cleaned up. I'll paint it black and we'll put it on there. But our number one problem is not the fact that we don't have the time or the place or whatever to do the transmission install. Our transmission jack has gone kaput. Matter of fact, the cylinder for it, I think, is... Where is that thing? Oh, it's over here. Let's see, there it is. There's the cylinder for it. And the cylinder is... It just... For what my dad told me, he lent it to somebody, and transmission jacks are not designed to lift cars. Or at least this one wasn't. It's a 1,000-ton jack. And that's... Cars weigh... Most cars weigh more than 1,000 tons, so... This guy who borrowed it apparently decided he was going to jack it up and also jack up the car as well. And it blew the cylinder out of it, so... A lot of you might be thinking, well, let's just get another one. Well, sure thing. You got $400 to lend me? $400 for another cylinder is too much, just for this one job. We may not even use this thing ever again. Well, we might, but in any case, we don't have $400 to buy a new one. And the remanufactured one is still $300-something, so it's not that much difference. So we kind of went back and forth ideas. We have this little bottle jack here. This isn't the one we're going to use, but we tested it. We kind of hooked up the hose, which you see kind of sticking out the side there. Let me zoom in a little bit. Right there. See that hose? We attached it to the Whataburger cup. No. We attached it to that bleed nipple thing there, or whatever that's called. We took that out and we plugged it in the hose, and we pumped it with the handle on the jack, and it actually worked. It lifted up, but we pumped it just a little too much, and it shot the safety plug out the back, and it shot across the parking lot. I mean, our driveway. So we realized, okay, this little jack clearly is not going to work. It's not tall enough anyway, and that was too much pressure for it to even handle that. So we bought a bigger one. And we're going to test it, but first we got to make sure this one, we got to make sure it'll work. So what we're going to do is we're going to take the handle and the pump system off of the jack, reattach it to this one after we fill it back up with fluid and put a permanent semi-permanent bolt in the hole where the plug went. And then we're going to test it. We're going to pump it up, and we're going to put it on it, lay it down on its side, pump it up, make sure it actually works good. And we're going to see if it'll lift a car, because that's what it's supposed to do. I think it's a 4-ton jack. I can't remember. Can't see it from here, and I got stuff in the way. Anyway, if it works on that little one, it'll work on the big one. And then all we got to do is find a way. Well, we already know how to do it, actually. This thing's too heavy for me to lift it myself, I think. Let me see. Oh, good. It is heavy. Oh, it is heavy. Okay. Oh, there it went. Alright, there we go. Okay, you can see here, the cylinder went from there to there. Not where the hose is, but that hole. So, if we put that the bigger bottle jack in there, we're going to cut these off, move them so the pin is in a different position so the jack will actually fit in there, put the head of the jack there with a swivel thing on it, and if it works, great. We'll have a good working transmission jack that we paid less than $30 to fix. Mostly. If it doesn't work, then the other option, I believe the only other option is for us to use our floor jack with our modified transmission holder that we built many years ago for another transmission. Let's see where that thing is. It's around here somewhere. Ah, there it is. This is a piece of wood here. There we go. Not much to it. Just set the transmission on here. Put these holes go through to the floor jack. But it's only 2 bolt holes, and this is a pretty big surface area. So the wood kind of went pop, pop, snap, snap when we tried it last time. But if we have to use that, we'll use it. I don't really want to because like I said last time, it almost fell on us, or it sounded like it was going to fall on us. But if we have to use it, we will. But there's one other option. We did find a cylinder that will work for this. Everything's right on it, except it's just a little bit too long. And my dad said it wouldn't work. But then he actually got looking at the jack here. He thinks... Uh-oh. Okay, sorry about that. My phone was telling me I didn't have enough space to record any more video. My camera is still working, but I had a small issue with it. Nothing I can't deal with, but I just didn't have my camera with me, and I didn't feel like going to get it right now. So this will have to do for now. Anyway, my dad decided he thinks he can move that pin back a little bit, so make that other cylinder fit. So we're going to go remeasure it, what we found online, and see if it'll work. If that'll work, that's $60. That's even better than we're doing the bottle jack idea. So if that works, we'll order that, get that in there, and we'll get this transmission done. However, there's only a couple other things we're going to have to deal with. One is a dipstick. We don't have a dipstick for this transmission, not here. The dipstick that's in the transmission that's in there now won't fit because it's the wrong size transmission and so on. So we have one at home, at our old home. We'll get it, fix it up. I'll get it painted all nice and glossy black or whatever. Also, I believe this transmission is actually longer or shorter than the one that's in there now. Well, we already modified the cross member for it years ago. So we're going to have to remodify it again to make it fit for this one. Also, the drive shaft is going to have to be cut down, shorter. So that will have to take it to a drive shaft specialist for that. But hopefully, the next week or so, all this will be moving in a steady pace, and we'll actually get everything ready, and I can actually show you some more work on this thing for a change, instead of just leaving y'all sitting for several weeks and month or so and waiting for more videos. But anyway, as it stands, that is the biggest problem with it right now, is the transmission is kaput. Now, some people I've seen on YouTube, like, what's his name? I was just talking to him the other day about a transmission. Oh, Ben, Corvette Ben. He was talking about a transmission he needed for a Camaro that he's trying to build, or trying to fix up and sell. We ended up only having I ended up talking to him about it, and we ended up only having, me and my dad, only having a transmission that was different, but we could have rebuilt for him, but he found one from somewhere else. So it turns out that the motor was in his Camaro was crap anyway, so transmission wouldn't have made much of a difference. Let's hope that doesn't end up being the same scenario with me and my El Camino. I'm pretty sure it won't. After all, we already know the engine's okay. It's wore out, but it's still good enough to drive back and forth places. In any case, This transmission is almost done. We just have to fix our transmission jack, take out the old one, put this one in there, modify the other things, get the valve body, get the cross member modified, get the drive shaft shortened, put all of that back in there, and then we'll adjust the door to take it for a proper test drive. And if it shifts good and it runs good and everything's cool, I'll take her up to get her inspected, and after that we'll continue doing the rest of the stuff to it. I've also mentioned the bodywork. A couple of issues with it. This, for example, we all remember. A few other things like around here, there, and up there. I'm going to see about getting a professional to repair all of this except for this piece here. We're going to do something different with that. After we get it running and driving, and I get it inspected so I can take it up to the place to have it, the painting place, I'll let them look it over, tell me what they think, and we'll go from there. Other than that, the only other thing I have to do is get this subwoofer to sit in place, wherever it is, in there somewhere. Finish the radio faceplate, get this door adjusted, get new seat belts, because the old ones are crap. Yeah, I discovered the old ones are pretty well wore out and they're not even worth keeping. So, I know. Well, that worked to fix them, and oh well. We'll get them fixed. No big deal. So, other than that, that's about it. And I did mention a few videos back. Sorry for making some long, rambling video, but I just want to give you all a good update with some information. I'll finish this up so you can just stop watching me wander around my garage and talk. I mentioned that we were going to be working on my truck, my 03 Silverado. Once I get the El Camino to a certain standpoint, the truck is going to become my next project. I want to get the interior redone in it, maybe a few touch-ups on the outside, some new modifications of my own that I want to add to it, among those things. That'll be a whole different video series on itself. And who knows, if things go well enough after that, maybe we'll have another project to do. I certainly hope so. But I can be completely honest with you guys. It ain't going to be the same issue as this one was. We're not going to do the bodywork first. We're not going to do the interior last and then the mechanicals last or whatever. It's going to be mechanical, interior, exterior. In that order. Mostly. Hopefully. Anyway, enough talking. That's all for now. Hopefully the next video will either be me telling you, showing the jack working, or among other things. Hopefully we'll find out. Other than that, that's all for now. Thanks for watching. Y'all have a good one.